Welcome to A Chef's Grimoire, Spring. Today we'll be working with the Hanged Man. Now, if you're new to the channel, what I typically do is for the first, say, 20 minutes of the video, I go through the card in question, talking about symbolism, talking about the story, the continuing story of the Fool's journey. And then we get into the menu and the cooking. I also wanted to mention that we have a really nice menu planned today, so you certainly can fast forward to it. All the recipes can be found at achefsgrimoire.com, and a link to that link is in the description underneath this video. Once again, we find ourselves with the Major Arcana page. We have the Fool numbered 0, who takes the journey through the 3 lines of the Major Arcana: the consciousness, subconsciousness, and the superconsciousness. We've gone through all of these cards in separate videos. You can always backtrack or go to the playlist so you can see the videos that we've done so far. But for today, we're with number 12. The Hanged Man. So let's go to that page now. Here we are on the Hanged Man page. You'll see it's a bit different than the previous pages if you've been following along so far. I have the script here, and not to get into too much in the first 3 sentences, but this is a huge transformation. Number 1, it's the second time that, in my opinion, we see the Fool. Obviously, the Fool is the Fool, and that Fool is going through the Fool's journey. And they've met a whole bunch of characters so far. But in this card, they actually resemble themselves. That's a huge key. I feel like since we are on the subconscious level of the Major Arcana, the 7 cards attached to the subconscious, this card is where we really see a change. So the story continues, and it is rather long. So instead of putting it in the book, I had to put it on a few pages to really get an accurate telling of the tale. We'll start with the Fool's journey as it continues and move on to symbolism in the page directly after. The Fool is led from the courthouse to the gallows, which consist of a grove of trees on the water's edge outside the village. Many before the Fool were brought here for contemplation and release, both metaphorically and literally. Feeling angry at their situation, betrayed by the punishment, and fearful of the sentence, the Fool is also ashamed to be seen by others. So full of disturbing emotions, the Fool can do nothing but remain silenced and somber. "Lay down on your back, Fool," says one of the guards that escorted them. "We will tie this rope around your ankle, then hang you from that cross branch upside down as Lady Justice ordered." "An upside-down hanging for the length of time you were granted is a merciful gesture," says the other guard. "There will be no pain, and we will feed you bread and ale every morning until we take you down." With that, the Fool feels the rope pull, and their back scrape up against the tree trunk. A few tight knots are tied, then the guards gather their tools and walk away. Day 1. From what the Fool can calculate, it is around 11 a.m. in the morning. Tears start to drip to the earth below. Deep emotions start to come up, and the Fool can feel their face flush over, becoming hot. Taking a deep breath, the Fool screams at the top of their voice. They scream again and again until their throat is sore. Only the sound of rushing water from the stream and bird song fill the void when the screaming is done. Exhausted and weeping, the Fool begins to realize that there is no one around to hear or help. From where the Fool hangs, they can see the sun in the mid-sky, between the branches of the trees. There's the sound of small creatures scurrying around near the brush, and some deer cross nearby to drink from the stream. Taking a look around, the fool begins to think about more positive things, such as being glad the weather is mild without rain or snow. The sunshine is buffered from the trees, and they are thankful for the shade. It is serene and pretty here, near the river and with the wildlife all around. The fool closes their eyes and takes in the sounds that they have not stopped to hear before. It's almost like a symphony, with the consistent flow of the water as the melody. Feeling a bit better, the fool begins to think about what else in their life they have not seen before, even though it was around them all the time. They stare ahead in contemplation of all the things they were attached to, and think back to the Hierophant and what spiritual beliefs they believed in. How are all these things benefiting me? The fool, pondering, begins to go through each material possession, as well as relationships, and what thought patterns may have ultimately led them to this place. It's time to weed through all of it. One by one, the fool makes a mental list of all the things to keep and all the things to let go of. Day 2. It is morning, and the fool opens their eyes to a new day. Footsteps are heard and the mumble of voices. It's the guards with the bread and ale. "How was your night, fool?" Not expecting an answer, the first guard gives the fool a sip of ale. It was delicious, as it flowed from their mouth down their throat in a cool, slippery healing of the dry lining. The guard rips the bread and feeds it to the fool, again savoring every bite as they chew. "Only one more day," says the other guard. "Here, take a few more sips of ale before we go." The fool thanks the guards before they turn and walk away. The fool almost feels happy to see them leave. The blood has rushed to their head, and everything feels as if it is underwater. Thankful for the nourishment, the fool begins to realize that they have changed somehow. Their appreciation is much grander and deep. It's almost like weights have been lifted, and a surrendering process has begun. To let go and be guided not by ego or egotistical thoughts, but instead by a higher power who will open the door that can be crossed through only by choice. By evening, the fool feels enlightened somehow. Their body is without feeling, and they look, but they only see inwards. The meditative gaze straight on is filled with thoughts of introspection, acceptance, and deeper meanings of the world and themselves. Day 3. Once again, the fool opens their eyes to a new day to start the rest of their lives. They hear the guards walking towards them. "You made it, fool. We and the townfolk were all rooting for you," said the first guard. "Yes, we were at the tavern last night, and everybody took bets to see if you would survive. Glad you did. You just won me a $5." The guards slowly lowered the fool down and let them lie on their back on the supportive earth. "See you in the village soon," said the second guard as they left the bread and ale on a tree stump and walked away. The fool lay on the ground for what seemed like hours before they sat up to eat and drink. What now? Looking up, they smile. Divine will choose the road, and I will make the choice of what path to follow next. Here we are, the Hanged Man page. Yeah, it's a little different. You got basically a novel here. But again, I wanted to really drive home the fact that there is a huge transformation happening with this card. So let's talk about symbolism for a little bit. First of all, we'll talk about the astrological sign of the Hanged Man. It's Pisces. And Pisces, I actually put it here so that we can really always glance back at it. But Pisces is the gateway from winter to spring. it's dark to light, ignorance to enlightenment. Now, there's body parts attached to all of the astrological signs, and interestingly enough, Pisces' body part is the feet, and our hanged man is hanged by the foot. Numerology of this card is 12, right here, 10 plus 2, 12, and that's the Roman numerals for the number. There's 12 months to a year, 12 days and night hours, 12 signs of the zodiac. And we'll get to it much later in the majors, but 12 reversed is 21, and 21 in the Major Arcana is the World card. It's completion. So that's why this is so significant. This is the transformation to get the Fool to completion. I also felt that it was necessary to put the symbol for the Philosopher's Stone in my interpretation of the page of the Hanged Man. Now, those of you that are Harry Potter fans know the Philosopher's Stone very well, but those that aren't, the stone is an undiscovered element called alkahest, and it's the element from which all 4 elements are derived. So you've got the 4 elements of earth, fire, air, and water. They all are represented in the Philosopher's Stone. And the Philosopher's Stone itself is the 5th element. The stone is the transcendent essence beyond the physical. It symbolizes profound spiritual transformation and enlightenment. And it can turn base metals into gold. So all of that is transformative, but turning base into gold is the same thing as the Fool transforming themselves into a spiritual being, which they always were, and they always had the power to do. The recipe for creating the Philosopher's Stone is nigredo, which translates to decay and purification, albedo, which translates to washing away of impurities, citrinitas, which translates to a stage of enlightenment and dawning of true knowledge, and rubedo, which translates to the achievement of the highest state of enlightenment. As you can see from our story here, it's all the things the Fool went through in their mind, in their third eye, or from seeing through their third eye, to get to a place where they now hold the Philosopher's Stone. Pisces, going back to Pisces, Pisces' ruler is Neptune, and the element for Pisces is water. We talk about a lot of water with the flowing of the water that the Fool is hung near, and I wanted that to be a pretty prominent part of the story, simply because, you know, there's one point where the Fool feels like they're underwater, and that's important because when you're underwater, you have a brand new perspective. You see, if you open your eyes and you're in, you know, the pool or whatever, you see things completely differently. You can't hear sounds as sharp as you do out of water. Everything is just distorted. And that's the transformation process starting to happen. The Hanged Man, you know, if you remember back to Strength, we talked about the 4 virtues, which are, in Catholicism, there's the cardinal virtues, and there's 4 of them. There is fortitude, which is strength, justice, and temperance, and prudence. In the tarot cards, all are depicted except for prudence. But the Hanged Man could certainly be thought of as prudence. The way that it comes into play is the De Millet deck from 1781 depicts Prudence as the Hanged Man. So Prudence is depicted instead of an upside down character like this for their card. Now, Prudence's meaning is the ability to discern the appropriate course of action to be taken in given situation at the appropriate time with consideration of the potential consequences. Basically, it's a transformation. The keywords of this card are the Tethered One, tethered to a higher consciousness, pause for reflection, observing and taking a new perspective, spiritual enlightenment, wisdom, pivotal periods in one's life that demand reflection and relinquishment of control, letting go of control, surrender, and my favorite, which goes back to the whole underwater theme, is drowning. The Drowned Man from the 1896 Golden Dawn deck. It's an enforced sacrifice. Now, many believe that there are 5 experiences of the dark night of the soul throughout the majors. 1 is the Hanged Man, 2 will be the Devil, 3 the Tower, 4 Death, and finally 5 the Moon. Another symbolization that dates back to the Renaissance of Italy is the imagery of the Pittura Infamante. All imagery has power as a universal and immediate form of communication. The illiterate at that time looked to pictures and symbols so that they could understand certain situations, or the communication of the learned to the unlearned. In 13th century Italy, also the time period that the Visconti Sforza deck was being created, that's the only known complete tarot deck we have to date, artists were commissioning to make Pittura Infamantes, or paintings of infamy. These paintings depicted men hanging upside down and held on a rope by a single foot. They were a form of damaging the good reputation of one who was convicted, but escaped and could not be tried or executed for their crime. The Pittura Infamante is kind of like an ancient version of a wanted poster. The paintings were posted on walls of public places with the first name of the criminal on them. They reminded onlookers of what would happen if they too had thoughts of being a traitor, committing adultery, fraud, or theft. Bankruptcy was also a category for this punishment. The hope was that the community would instill the shame and disgrace of the subject. The tradition was merciless and socially leveling. It brought down everyone, no matter their rank. No other sentence was as resounding, explicit, and long-lasting in its effective, disparaging condemnation than the Pittura Infamante. This practice declined in the 16th century as propaganda posters started to become looked upon as art versus slanderous conviction. And that's because many of renowned artists that we know today were commissioned to do that work, and they were already a name doing this work, so they were looking at it more as art versus being slanderous, which I find actually quite funny. The other symbolism of the card brought into Christianity is, of course, the crucifixion of Christ. And also some believe that it's a Judas being paid the 30 pieces of silver to betray Christ. Added later, much later, another way of looking at this card is from Norse mythology and the story of Odin, who offered himself as a sacrifice in order to gain knowledge. He hung upside down from the world tree for 9 days to attain wisdom of the ruins of the Well of Ward. The ruins source and end all mystery and knowledge. Upon seeing the ruins, Odin dies, but the knowledge was so powerful that he immediately returns to life, hence a reincarnation or a pause between his old life and his new. So all of that basically is the bubble that this card is in, or is surrounded around, and the history of this particular card and why we got to it and why it's in the Major Arcana. Now we'll look to the symbolism itself. In the Way to Write Smith deck, the Hanged Man is hanging from what looks like a Tau cross, T-A-U cross. Now a Tau cross many people associate with the Catholic Church. So this is a picture of the Tau cross, and immediately you'll recognize it. It's flayed on either side as well as the top and bottom. And if you look here, which is the only parts you see in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you see the flay and the flay, and it's very symbolic of the Tau cross. Now, what is the Tau cross? It was a symbol for which Ezekiel marked those chosen by God for the poor to be saved. It was the seal of St. Francis. It was the staff of St. Anthony of Egypt, whose hospital treated ergotism, aka St. Anthony's fire. The tree of sacrifice. Tau cross is the symbol of salvation and eternal life, living and growing, and the Tau cross resembles new opportunities. You'll see the face of the Fool is not in pain. A caveat here, this is my my hand drawing, so it's, yeah. Look to the card to really see a good depiction of the face of the Fool. But the idea here is the face shows no struggle or discomfort. The surrender process is voluntary. They're free of suffering and instead are in deep entrancement. And if you remember how we talked about that part of the story, the Fool was looking forward, but only seeing inward. Now, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the right foot is the one that is held by the rope. In almost all other decks prior to Rider-Waite-Smith, it was the left foot that the Fool was hung upon. A symbol of intersection is the legs being crossed. Crossing the left leg versus the right is the body of the man, also can be seen as the alchemical symbol for sulfur. The Fool hanging upside down resembles being in an unusual or counterintuitive position, encourages a different perspective, and the descent of spirit into matter. The red pants are earthly, so the red pants are symbolic of earthly aspects and potential for personal sacrifice. The passions overwhelming him are tempered. The blue tunic that the Fool wears. Blue is the color of water. It's intuition, it's altered state of consciousness, meditation, and knowledge through intuition. The yellow shoes. They depict or are resemblance of actions, desires, memories, ego, intellect. All of these lost their former meaning, and now only a spiritual path is the guide. The halo. The halo represents enlightenment, spiritual attainment, representative of the Egyptian sun disk, which means divine awakening. If you were a hanged man for 2 days and were taken down and were told you could have anything to eat, what would that be? Well, I planned a really nice menu, which consists of all things upside down. We are starting, well, first of all, we're going to do things a little differently and change perspective, but we'll get to that in a second. Our menu, however, is upside down onion, Gruyere, and thyme pastries, a reverse seared steak, Tadig, and Flan de Queso. Let's get cooking. Our mise en place for our flan consists of eggs, sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, cream cheese, water, vanilla, and sugar. I also have a pie plate. It's a deep dish pie plate, and you need a vessel for a bain-marie. We'll talk about that in a minute. First up, you're going to make your caramel. So to a heavy-bottomed pot on rather high heat, you're going to add your sugar and your water. Swirl that around so that all the sugar is coated with the water and bring it to a boil. Now this is the most crucial part of making caramel. Never stir. You're just going to swirl gently, just like this. And this is going to be a good 15-minute process. So gradually it will turn color. And by swirling, you're going to make sure the color is consistent throughout. Working quickly, you're going to pour the caramel into the pie plate, scraping out all the goodness, making sure you get every bit. It's delicious. And then swirl to coat the bottom. Let that rest for about 10 minutes while you make up the batter. For the batter, we're going to cream the cream cheese. And then we're going to add the eggs. We're going to add them one at a time. So add one egg. And then blend. Add your second egg. And this is a good opportunity to scrape down the sides of the bowl if you haven't already done so. Then blend. Now once all the eggs are incorporated, we're going to add the milks. We're going to add the sweetened condensed milk. Again, scraping out all the goodness inside. And the evaporated milk. Hit that with a little vanilla and blend. You're looking to get all the lumps out and make a nice thin batter. Now you'll see the caramel has cracked in a few places. And it was funny because I'm making the batter and I'm hearing crack, crack, crack. And I'm like, oh no. But it all works out fine, don't worry. Pour the batter over the caramel in the pie plate. And I have a bain-marie, that's that other vessel that I'm going to put the pie plate in. It has water in it, and it's going to come up about a quarter of the way up the sides of the pie plate. This insulates the custard so it doesn't turn into a cake. It stays creamy. Okay, we're going to flip the flan in real time. I have a platter. This was the best one I could find. I obviously need to go platter shopping. It has a little raised bit for, I guess, a dip vessel to go onto. But it's a beautiful platter and it fits the size of my pie plate for the flan. So I'm just going to use it. It's a custard, so it's not a problem for it to be a little raised around here. Our flan, isn't it beautiful? Okay, so you can see the caramelly bottom, and it did get nice and brown on top. Not to worry, not a problem. So I'm gonna take, this plastic thing came with something, I don't know, I ordered off of Amazon, and I saved it because I use this thing all the time. You could just use a plastic butter knife, but you definitely want to score around the edge, just like this. Forgive me if my filming is not precise, but we're gonna score the whole thing just to get it free so that we can invert. Do a good job here. You'll know when it's free. There won't be any resistance. And what I'm doing now is I'm just sticking the fork in, or whatever this thing is, and lifting a little bit. You can see how the caramel is starting to run, but you can see how it's coming up, and that way I know that it's completely free. One more time, just for good measure. Oh yeah. Okay, ready? So we're going to take our platter, put it over the sides, and 1, 2, 3. It worked! Ah! All right, now the hard part, getting that. Oh, it's all over me. All right, that's okay. Well, not for you, but for me, it's okay. What? we are doing things with a new perspective. We're going to start with dessert. There's a bunch of parties that are popular now. They're called backwards dinner parties. So you eat dessert first, which, hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with that. So I have some violets from my garden because it's spring and they're all over the lawn, which makes it a real crime to mow because you're mowing over them, but I'm using them now. It's so pretty. And some mint that I just bought. I'm going to plant that in the back and I'm very excited about that. How about just let it go to town. All right, here we go, flan. This is, you know, I'm a custard girl, I'm a dairy girl, and this is one of my favorites. So it's firm. The cream cheese is going to be the savior in this recipe. If you've never made flan before, this is foolproof, literally. So the hardest part about making it is the caramel. But if you follow the directions to the T, you shouldn't have a problem. Just remember, don't stir. Don't stir, because the crystals of the sugar will recrystallize. I made that mistake many times, and tears. It's just not fun. You know, you got to redo it, and it's... But it's super simple. Just follow the instructions. Be patient. And once you get your caramel made, you know you're home free. So delicious. So delicious. Yeah. And serve this ice cold because it's just the creaminess and the satiatingness and I mean, it's not overly sweet, definitely sweet, not overly. And that browned sugar, unlike caramel, I mean, it's caramelly, but it's burnt, kinda, so more intense. Lovely. Flan, one of the best desserts ever. For our Tadig, we have salt, basmati rice, orange, saffron, grapeseed oil, cinnamon, pistachios, dried mulberries, and dried apricots. Traditionally, it's dried cherries, butter, and yogurt. We're going to start by crushing our saffron. Now I have a pestle and mortar to do this in, but you could certainly just do it with your fingers and crumble them as finely as you can get them. I wouldn't suggest an electronic device to do this. Do it by hand. And then make sure you rinse off the pestle. And the way I'm going to get the saffron out of the mortar is to just pour the water in and pour it out. Pour it in, pour it out, making sure all the saffron is used. The water is tepid. It's like maybe 100 degrees. Now let that rest and bloom. To a pot, you're going to bring water to a boil and add all the salt. And you're going to rinse your rice, then add it. You're cooking this about 6 minutes just to get it al dente. While the rice is cooking, we're going to chop up all of our garnishes. I have the pistachios. These are a salted, unshelled pistachio. And I'm just going to mince it up real nice like this. You remember how to mince. You're holding the knife the regular way, and with your non-dominant hand, you're holding down the tip so that the rest of the blade can do the work. Now we're going to work with the apricots. We're going to julienne them, slicing them lengthwise. And then we're going to cross-cut the julienne. You've seen me do this many times with various vegetables and various fruits. just like that. Nice small pieces. Now the mulberries. This was a really unique find. I don't know, I don't see them everywhere, but I was in a specialty grocery store and found these, and I was like, this is perfect. They're unique, they're different, and that's what we're going for here. So it's a mince, just like with the pistachios, and get them nicely, finely minced. Then combine the apricots and the mulberries so that you have a beautiful little mixture. For zesting, I'm going to zest this way, not this way. Why? Because for citrus, I like to do it this way. When zesting, the zest goes up into the zester, and you can see where you're zesting. You don't have to constantly turn your head and find where you've zested and where you haven't. Perfect. Now, to make the dish, we're going to take 1 cup of our rice that's been parboiled. We're going to add the yogurt, add the oil, and 2 tablespoons of that beautiful saffron water. It smells amazing. And mix that up well. That's the base or the top of your rice dish. We're going to spread it in a non-stick pan. I only have a 12-inch. I don't have a 10-inch, but a 10-inch would be perfect. So what I'm doing is just spreading it around the bottom and making it nice and even. Now for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th layer, we're going to take another cup of rice and add it on top of the yogurt rice and spread that out. I'm trying to keep it on top of the rice and not let it slip off into the sides. Again, the pan is a little too big for this particular dish, but it'll all work out. Now to the rice, we're going to add some of those beautiful fruit. We're going to add some orange zest, but my orange zest was super wet, so I'm adding some salt to the zest so that it will sprinkle better. We're going to salt every layer. That's very important. And then finally finish with a good pinch of cinnamon. Now this that I'm doing here, you're going to do again and again and again until all of the rice is used up. But it's the same process: rice, fruit, orange zest, cinnamon. When all the layers are finished, you're going to add the rest of the saffron water to the rice. I like to do it this way versus pouring it over. This way, I'm sure that all of the white rice is covered with the yellow, amazing colored liquid. Now you're going to dot the top with butter. Just break or have the butter already cut, which would probably be a better idea, into pieces and pop it over the top. Add the pan to the stove top on a medium-high heat and let it sit there for maybe 3 or 4 minutes before you pop the top on. After about 10 minutes, turn the heat down to medium or medium-low, and then let it cook the rest of the way. It's a 25-minute process. You know it's done when it feels firm, pressing the spatula on top. Our Tadig looks great. We're going to invert this now. So same method applies as the flan. You're going to get your spatula in and just make sure it's all free, and it's moving in the pan, just like that. I can hear it moving. And then it's hot, so you're going to take your plate. My plate fits perfectly inside my pan. And then I'm going to use the cutting board as a sturdy surface. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and that way it won't go all over the floor like the flan did. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh! It's like Christmas morning. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. And it's semi-crisp on top. Not really, but it will be. When you make it, it will be. I'll add a caveat. I made this yesterday and I refrigerated it in the pan with plastic over the top. And then I just heated it up on very warm, low heat on the stovetop back in the pan without the cover. And it's gorgeous. So totally make ahead. The only thing you're going to lose is the crunch on top from it not being, done right, eaten immediately after it's been made. But yay, Tadig! Wait till you see this cut. It's beautiful. Not only are we going to reverse sear the steak, but we're using frozen steak. I mean, this is frozen solid. You want your steaks to be at least 1.5 inches thick. That's the only way this particular method is going to work. Rub it good with oil, then we're going to season it. I have garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Give the steak a good coating of the seasonings and rub it all in. You're going to do this to both sides. Now add a good, generous sprinkling of black pepper, and into the oven these go. 250 degrees for about an hour. You're looking for internal temperature of 115 to 120 Fahrenheit. When they come out of the oven, they're not going to look so gorgeous, but let's make sure their internal is correct. 120, bang. Now let this rest. This is where you could refrigerate and or freeze the steaks. But we're going to continue cooking. So to a super hot pan, I'm going to add some grapeseed oil and place my steak in the pan. We're only cooking 1 minute. Then we're going to flip. And look at that. The crust is gorgeous. It's got the grid marks from the rack it was sitting on, but that's okay. The last 30 seconds of cooking on the second side, I'm going to add butter to the pan. And we're going to baste these. This is going to seal in that gorgeous coat and just bathe the beautiful steak in butter. How gorgeous is that? Now, the best thing about a reverse sear, other than many other things, is that you don't need to let the steak rest before slicing. I literally just took it out of the pan, and I'm just honing my knife to get the edge back so I can have clean cuts. I'm going in on an angle, and I'm making nice, thick slices. Here is our reversed steak with the Tadig. I paired them together to make a almost complete meal. The only thing missing, and I should have done it, right? String beans. He's strung up. String beans, there you go. That's the vegetable that I would pair this dish with. So, let's try. Okay, guys, when I say tender, it literally melts in your mouth. I just got a piece of the fresh thyme. Just brought the flavor up a notch. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Remember to turn the steak in the pan to get the edges, so all the fat on the outside gets crispy. It's okay if you forget. I didn't do it, so I forgot to, but it'll help. Oh, decadent. Okay, Tadig. Ready? So the consistency of the Tadig, it shouldn't fall apart. The main part of it should stay intact in the shape. But the rice itself should be a little crunchy, right? On the outside, definitely. And then on the inside, it should be nice and tender. Oh, wow. The saffron is the underlining flavor. The rice is perfectly cooked. And then when you get a mulberry or an apricot, the sweetness elevates the butter. I can taste the butter. Yeah, that's a beautiful way to eat rice. I just got some cinnamon and orange. So the flavors really come through in this dish. Every layer, you're building that flavor. And the end result is just a party. You get one flavor, which complements the next flavor you get, which complements the next flavor you get. It's a whole new way of eating rice. Oh yeah. And then the steak juices. Oh wow. All right. I'm not eating dinner today. This is it. This is like all I'm eating. This and my flan. Oh, I haven't even tried the appetizer yet. Okay, so the flan and the appetizer. That's my main meal today. Stunning, dinner party worthy, every night of the week worthy. The Tadig, as I said, you can make it in advance. So make it on a Sunday, serve it on a Monday, or a Tuesday, or even a Wednesday. I think it'll hold in the fridge for at least 3 days. Warm it up very slowly in the pan that you made it in. If you've inverted it because you don't have enough room in your fridge to store it, then you can warm it in a very slow oven, like a 250-degree oven for maybe 30 minutes, or until the internal temperature is 200. And then it'll be warm and perfect for serving. Same with the steak. The steak is a lovely thing. Once you've done the baking on the steak, you can hold it. Of course, bring it to completely cooled before you wrap it and put it in your fridge. I did that to my steak. So I cooked the steak yesterday. And instead of wrapping it, I had the room, so I just put it back on a rack on a sheet tray and left it in the refrigerator uncovered. And then when I was ready to sear it, I brought it out of the fridge and let it come to room temperature. That's important. And then 2 minutes, 1 minute per side, and you saw me baste it with the butter. And decadent. If you want to, you can also pop it in the freezer after it's baked. And then whenever you want a quick steak, it's ready to go. How can I tout the process any better? It's revolutionary. It's a new perspective on cooking classic dishes like rice, like steak. And it's definitely hanged man worthy. You're inverting the rice and you're reverse searing his steak. You'd approve. For our tarts, we have honey, balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, an egg, Gruyere cheese, thyme, shallots, and a cookie cutter. You don't have to use it, but it'll make things easier. So to a floured surface, you're going to take your pastry. This is puff pastry. And I'm going to flour both sides. I'm going to gently roll it to get the creases out and to get a more uniform shape. I'm pressing my cookie cutter into the dough in order to make circles. Now you can make squares, you can make rectangles, whatever you want to do. You can even use a knife and not a cookie cutter. It doesn't matter. Just get the shape you want and refrigerate your slices while you're building the rest. I use the cookie cutter as a guide, and I'm putting little circles of honey and following that with the balsamic vinegar. This is where the pastries are going to be set. You're going to then add your fresh thyme, pulling it from the stems. And you definitely want to season it up. Little salt, little pepper. And the onions. Now I had a red onion, so I thought maybe I'll do 2 red onion and 2 shallot. So that's what I'm doing here. And you're going to follow that with the cheese. Now you'll see we're building this from the bottom up. Finally, you're going to pop those round circles and or pastry, however shape you want, on top. You're going to dock it all to make sure it's pressed against the parchment. That's important so it doesn't all seep out. And then we're going to egg wash the tops or the bottoms, however you want to call it. But make sure you get a nice egg wash over all of the pastry. We're going to bake these at 400 for about 20 minutes or until they're puffed and firm to the touch. And last but not least, our appetizer, onion tarts. Now, you're going to look at them and you're going to say, oh, they're all burnt. That is the balsamic vinegar. It's the balsamic vinegar. Now, you can omit the balsamic. That would make these more golden brown versus so dark. I like the acidicness of adding the balsamic vinegar. So let's try them. Yummy. Yeah. Crispy. The onion is very tender. I really like the flavor of the smokiness of the balsamic vinegar and the honey. It's not sweet. Can't really taste the sweetness, at least not with that first bite. And the reason I like the caramelization on this is because it carries over into dessert, because the dessert has that caramel on top. So you're getting, you know, caramel first and caramel last, which is never a bad thing. All right, one more bite. Let's see which side. This side. No, this side. I found these when I plugged in upside down recipes. And I guess, I don't know because I'm not on TikTok, but from what I see, this was like a viral TikTok video of someone who created these. And yeah, they work. So there it is. You could fill them with anything. I chose onion and Gruyere cheese, which, as you saw, even though I had shallots on my mise en place, I also had a red onion, and I decided to do 2 with red onion and 2 with shallots. They taste the same in my opinion. The shallots may be just a touch sweeter, but presentation-wise, the red onion might be, prettier in a presentation. Now that said, you could fill these with anything. You could fill them with apples, some kind of fruit and make them sweet. Put powdered sugar over the top. Oh, we didn't look at the bottoms. Let's look at the bottoms. Oh, golden brown, nice. The egg wash really helps with that. And yeah, definitely put these in your rotation for your next dinner party or potluck or, barbecue. Really nice. So today's card being all about the Hanged Man. There's times in your life where maybe things are everything's going wrong. Everything. Like, you say something and you get backlash. You go out for groceries and you get in a car fender bender. You go out for a walk and you twist your ankle. And it builds. It's like one thing happens and then the cycle keeps going. That to me would be the clear indication of it's time to string yourself up, more or less. It's time to go inward, figure out what is the underlying cause of all of these mishaps that are happening in your life that you just can't seem to shake. There's something. It could be your frame of mind. Most likely it is. So if you're in a frame of mind where you're constantly putting yourself down, feeling inferior, that could certainly come into play. If you're mingling with the wrong people and trying to compare yourself with others, that could certainly come into play as being part of the issue. Any kind of negativity. So take a pause, recalibrate, think about the things you're thinking negatively of, and reverse it. So let's say that I can't stand, I gained a lot of weight over the winter and now I'm feeling fat. I could go around especially with, warmer weather coming up and we're wearing short sleeve shirts and even shorts and exposing our legs more and wearing sandals versus closed-toed shoes, I'm going to feel very self-conscious. So, I need to start, instead of being downward and with my head down and my shoulders hunched and my belly sticking out because I'm hunched over, instead I'm going to pull my shoulders back and I'm going to give an air that I am much more confident. And just in the physical change of this to this, you become proud. Even though your circumstances might not be intact with what you look like, people don't know. And eventually, when you're walking proud, you're walking with confidence, things will change because your mindset's going to change. And that's what the reversed Fool and or Hanged Man is undergoing. A reversal to see things in a new perspective, to go inward and change their mindset. We talked a little bit about the numerology of this card being number 12. Now, 12 is also the astrological wheel. There's 12 signs in the zodiac, and I know we talked a little bit about this in the beginning of the video when we did the symbolism in the card. But I wanted to bring us back to that point because the first sign in the zodiac is Aries. Now, if you have, say, Aquarius rising, like I do, then the first sign, or in the first house, it's going to be Aquarius. But the wheel of the year is always one way. When it turns to go to your rising sign, then it's just a little bit askew for your particular makeup. But the actual wheel of the year, Aries, starts at the ascendant. And it's the first sign of the zodiac. So we move from winter, which is Pisces, deep winter. That's January, February. And we go into Aries, which is spring. Get up and go. No blind, take those blinders off and just, okay? We all had our hibernation, and now it's time to get out and go and do. That's Aries in a nutshell. But where I'm going with this is that the deep of winter is dark, more or less. It doesn't have to be, but it's often known to be dark season. And then we move into the light. So number 12 is the 12 signs of the zodiac switching from darkness to light. Hibernation, which brings enlightenment. So the shift is the Hanged Man process, in my opinion. It's going from darkness to light. It's going from unawareness to awareness. If it's the cycle of life, it's bringing us from a child to an adolescent, or an adolescent to an adult, or an adult to an elder. It's a rite of passage. So we all need to take a little break, and the Hanged Man is the reminder of that. So if you get the card in the reading, as always, what's on the other side of it is going to bring more meaning to why the Hanged Man is pulled in the first place. And of course, what question does it answer? Being very specific in your questioning when you're reading the tarot cards is important, because you could get a card when you're vague. You could get a card like the Hanged Man, and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't answer my question, or how does that fit to my question? And then you got to pull other cards to figure out what it means. But if you're super specific, then that card should hit the nail right on the head. So your homework for next week is do a reverse seared steak, make the Tadig, make everything that we made today, because it's all glorious and wonderful. And while you're doing that, go into a deeper understanding of your life and how you can change certain things that may not be doing you justice. Until next week, see you then.